Litsky for Harvard, along with my colleague Victoria Steinberg. I want to make clear at the outset that no one here disputes the grave evils of slavery or that Louis Agassiz's scientific theories of white supremacy were abhorrent. And certainly, no one here disputes that Renty and Delia were treated unconscionably, and it's more than clear that the daguerreotypes at issue were produced in utterly egregious circumstances.
What is Harvard's possessory interest in these daguerreotypes, and where does it stem from?
Well, so I don't think that question is clear from the answer to that question is clear from the complaint. They allege that Harvard doesn't have
Why doesn't this case go back to determine who has a superior right, as your opposing counsel has said?
Because the plaintiff's claims all turn on the proposition that she has a possessory interest or a property interest in these daguerreotypes. So it doesn't, Harvard's possessory interest as to the threshold question of whether she can bring these claims doesn't matter. It's, somebody can't, go ahead, I'm sorry, were you?
Oh, no, I'm just curious and listening.
Oh, okay, so
attentively.
somebody can't bring a conversion action to get damages or a plebiscite action to repleve somebody else's property.
So
right?
you're
It doesn't matter whether it's
suggesting
Harvard's
maybe she's just called it the wrong thing. What we really need is an interpleader action to say whose rights are superior here.
Well, if she filed that kind of action, I don't think it would make a difference, because I think the threshold question is just whether there is a property interest in the subjects of a photograph. If the answer to that question...
Wait.
That's
Let's
important.
not frame it that way.
That's important, right? Because if, what they're saying is, in these awful circumstances where you're performing, in the words of Mr. Crumpet, an illegitimate scientific racist experiment, should Harvard get to keep the pictures? I understand they've got some difficult arguments to make to explain their property interests, but your simple point that just because you're the photographer, you get to keep the picture, there are exceptions to that rule. If you kidnap somebody and take half-naked pictures of them, you don't get to keep the pictures. You take pictures of a child naked, that's a crime. You don't get to keep the pictures. So there are limits on your possessory interests if it arises out of criminal or tortious behavior, right?
Absolutely right.